don't want to be anything other than what I'm coded to be mainly. All I have to do is think of my genes and have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms wondering how I was made or who I'm supposed to be. I don't want to be anything other than me.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Who Are You? As always, I'm your host for today, Jeanette George. Let's meet today's family, the Petersons. Here we have Mr. and Mrs. Peterson and their 3 kids, Ryan, Spencer, and Peyton. Spencer is colorblind and they don't know why, so we are here to help them.
Thanks for having us on the show, George. I'm a huge fan and I just can't believe I'm actually here. You're so great.
Wow, thanks for tuning in every week. It's fans like you who make this show possible. Now, tell me a little more about why you are here.
Oh, right, of course. Well, you see, I'm not colorblind, Jim's not colorblind, and Ryan and Peyton aren't either, so how come Spencer is?
But Bonnie, you were adopted, so you don't know who your real parents are.
Yeah, Mom, so maybe your biological parents were colorblind too.
Well, since I'm not, they can't be either. It wouldn't make sense for them to be colorblind.
Mom, you don't even know how the genetics work.
Well, let's take a look at your family pedigree and we'll find out. A pedigree is a family tree showing the occurrence of heritable traits between parents and offspring for multiple generations. From the looks of it, you, Mrs. Peterson, must be a carrier for the colorblindness allele.
Wow, George, I wish I was as smart as you. I don't even know what a carrier is.
No need to worry, Mrs. Peterson. Only people who are really interested in biology take the time to learn all these terms. Lucky for you, I'm a biology nerd specializing in genetics. And I know that a carrier is a person who has one dominant allele and one recessive allele.
Oh yeah, we just learned about that in my honors biology class. Dominant allele masks the effects of the recessive allele when there's only one. The only way a recessive allele can show up phenotypically is if both alleles are recessive.
Spencer, what's a phenotype?
Don't ask him, he's only in honors, but I'm an AP. A lot of this is too advanced for him to already know. A phenotype is visible outward appearance of a trait. But the phenotype depends on the genotype, which is the genetic combination of alleles. See, I know what I'm talking about.
Wow, folks, this family already seems to be experts on genetics. Let's test this knowledge after this short break.
This new and improved shampoo lengthens your hair in a shocking 2 days.
If you take this product, then all the boys will want you as much as they want me.
This shampoo results in fuller and healthier hair. The product works by renewing hair follicles, helping to nourish the hair. This is an experimental product. If you call now, we will give you a month's free trial. 1-800-694-3949.
And we're back. So far we have concluded that Mrs. Peterson must be a carrier.
Okay, I get that Bonnie here must be a carrier, but then why is only Spencer colorblind and not all my kids?
Haha, Spencer, you're mutated. Your teenage sequence is all messed up.
Hey, I am not!
Dude, yeah you are. You're way messed up.
Actually, Spencer's right. He is not mutated. He just expresses a trait that is sex-linked. Sex-linked traits are found in the X chromosome in humans. Since a boy is characterized by an XY genotype and females by an XX genotype, boys only need one recessive allele to have the phenotypic recessive trait. Therefore, sex-linked recessive traits are more common in boys than in girls.
So I have 2 X's?
Yes, Peyton, he just said that.
Boys, stop it. George, you're so great. Have I told you that yet? So, George, how does this relate to Spencer's colorblindness?
Colorblindness is a sex-linked trait that is carried on the X chromosome. Since Mr. Peterson does not have this condition, the only possible solution for Spencer's condition would be that you are heterozygous and gave him the X chromosome with the recessive trait.
Non-sex-linked traits are called autosomal traits. I remember that from your project, Ryan.
Oh yeah, Dad. We just use a Punnett square to show the possible genotypes and phenotypes of our parents, right, Genetic George?
That's exactly right, Ryan. These kids are really amazing. A Punnett square is a diagram that shows the projected genotypic results of a cross between parents, which allows us to find the possible phenotypes of the offspring.
So if Mrs. Peterson is heterozygous, she must have a dominant and a recessive allele on her 2 X's.
Correct. So Mrs. Peterson is X big R, X little r, and you, Mr. Peterson, is X big R Y. From this cross, the possible genotypes for your children are as follows: X big R, X big R, X big R, X little r, X big R Y, and X little r Y. Alright folks, after this short break we will find out what genotype each of the Petersons have and what caused only Spencer to be colorblind.
Next up in the ring is the champion Bio Buddy against his rival Math Mate. 3, 2, 1, fight! You want to get juice like me? Take this pill and you'll get buff in only 2 weeks.
Muscle enhancements help create amino acids that build muscles quicker and more efficiently while also increasing protein intake. This product is still being experimented with. Common side effects include liver abnormalities, tendinitis, circulatory problems, and more. For more questions, please call 1-800-453-2957.
And we're back. I'm Genetic George, and today we have been tracking the Peterson family. Let's quickly recap. From Mr. and Mrs. Peterson's genotypes, the following are the possible genotypes for their children: X big R, X big R, X big R, X little r, X big R Y, and X little r Y. Now, remember that uppercase R's represent the dominant allele and lowercase r's represent the recessive allele.
George, I don't think you explained what an allele is. Can you help me understand?
Well, Bonnie, an allele is an alternative form of a gene that arose from mutation. So what am I? That's a great question, Payne. Who are you?
Since you're a girl, you must be X big R, X big R. She can be also X big R, X little r too, Spencer. Oh yeah, because mom can give her either X big R or X little r. So in other words, no one knows what you are, Peyton.
That's correct. You could either be homozygous dominant or you could be a carrier for color blindness. This will be easier to determine if you have children. So you mean my kids could be colorblind? Unfortunately, yes, they could. But you can figure out the probability of that happening using a Punnett square like I just showed you.
So if I have children, will they be colorblind?
Well, Spencer, you must be X little r Y because you are colorblind.
Let's set up another Punnett square to help you understand the probability that your children will be afflicted. From this, you can easily see that you have more of an effect on which trait your sons get.
I think I understand. If Spencer marries someone who is also colorblind, then all of his kids are guaranteed to be too.
And if Spencer marries someone who isn't colorblind, then the Punnett square tells us the probabilities. If his wife is a carrier, then there's a 50% chance that their daughter will be colorblind and a 50% chance that their daughter would be a carrier. If they have a son, there's a 50% chance that that son will be colorblind. Oh, thanks, George. I learned so much from you.
Glad I could help you and your family understand your genetics. Sadly, our time is almost up, folks, but before we review, we must take one more short break.
This year is ATP Al eating the brand new Chewy Bar. You too can be as energized as Al if you buy this product. Adenosine triphosphate, known as ATP, is a nucleotide used to store and transfer energy within a cell. Energy is released when it is converted to ADP, adenosine diphosphate. This is done through a process called hydrolysis, ionizing a water molecule causing the compound to separate. If you have more questions about this product, please call 1-800-238-4691.
Well, we're back, folks. Let's recap what we learned today with the Peterson family.
We learned that a pedigree can help trace our family history and that a Punnett square can show how our parents' alleles can be recombined to make our genotypes, which then reflect our outward expression of those traits, our phenotypes.
I learned that Mommy is a carrier because she gave Spencer X little r and could have given me either X big R or X little r.
From this discussion, I found out that I must be heterozygous for the colorblindness alleles since one of my children is affected.
In addition, colorblindness must be a sex-linked gene, for it is more common in males and is carried on the X chromosome.
Lastly, we received the concepts of the dominant and recessive alleles.
covering how they are expressed in charts and tables, as well as how the dominant allele always masks the recessive allele unless two recessive alleles show up together. In that case, the recessive phenotype would be expressed.
That's it for today, folks, and Spencer, you are not mutated. We'll see you all next week on Who Are You?, where we meet the Smith family. Good night, folks.
Genetics. I don't wanna be anything other than what I'm going to be mainly.